Happy Monday, everyone. It's a Meta Monday here at the Hodl Fandom where we go through Vivi's metadata. Now, it's been a while, but it's good to be back. I wasn't on vacation or anything like that. Every single accountant out there should be pretty swamped to start the year with year end, taxes, audits, or a combination of the above. Now, things have eased up just a little bit, so we're slowly getting back into the swing of things. And let's start today's video with an overall look on the overall trends in the market. Is the market healthy? Now, we just finished the month of January, so we have some monthly totals to compare. We ended the month with 27,812 active unique users on the platform. My criteria is you have to be an active buyer in the marketplace to be classified as an active user. At 27,800, that is a drop of 7.6% versus the prior month of December. Over 4 months, we have an overall slight downtrend. That also agrees with the data on the overall transactions, as there is a consistent downtrend there as well, with January ending with approximately 276,000 transactions. When we split the activity by tier, there is a lot of red on the board, with a few whale tiers showing up as the few bright spots. Let's zoom out to gain a better perspective. When we look at the global NFT marketplace, the 27,800 active buyers would rank number 2 amongst all other NFT projects out there, only behind SoRare. And the 276,000 transactions would rank number 3 against all other NFT projects, just behind SoRare once again and Gods Unchained. NBA Top Shot is just behind us at the number 4 spot. There is one thing to watch, and that's that these projects here show an increased activity month over month, while Vivi is on a downtrend, as we saw with the earlier data. This might be explainable for the sports-related ones, as the NBA playoff race is heating up, and the NFL is approaching their main event with the Super Bowl. Our Super Bowls were the Comic-Cons, but the non-sports platforms here on the global NFT charts are also seeing an uptick in January. So that is something to watch. Nothing to be overly concerned about just yet, but I will be watching that. With more and more metadata being available, there have been more people producing different kinds of content on it, which is great, as long as you're using it for good purposes for the community. There is one person on Twitter, a gentleman named Sergio, at Sergio Collects is his Twitter handle, and he tracks grails being bought. Now, there's generally a positive view to this if you read the comments, but in my mind, in a silo, there's 2 different ways you can interpret these purchases. On one end, people could think, hey, Viva Collectibles, they're being bought up. FOMO it now because they're all going to the moon. On the other end, hey, someone sold a grail. People could be dumping grails. There could be those 2 different perspectives. Remember, for every buyer, there's also a seller. So there could be both those interpretations. Now, you can focus on the buyer and be positive, or focus on the seller and be negative. So I decided to dig deeper because when I track the buyers and the sellers data for the free Cherry Charts newsletter, sign up at cherrycharts.com, when I track that data, there has always been more unique sellers than buyers. So let's dig deeper. When we use my tiers of Noob, Krill, Dolphin, and Whale, and look at whose buys and sells across those tiers, we get a matrix that looks like this. The total sales from smaller to bigger wallets totaled about 104,000 transactions, while sales from bigger to smaller only totaled 25,000. A large majority of 81% of transactions on Vivi that cross tiers are from small to big wallets. Even with the overall data trending slightly down for the past handful of months, as a general trend, we can conclude that the higher number of small wallets are selling to the smaller number of big wallets. So Sergio, I do agree with you. It is a positive thing, just from a different angle. And with adding a bit more color to the situation, we can see it is the whales accumulating. Now that doesn't mean everybody out there should FOMO into grails. Just because somebody has money doesn't mean they know what they're doing with it. You still need to do what's right for you. This is just the trend that we see. It's also good to see that there is some liquidity in the markets from these big ticket items. I tried my hand at flipping a few times throughout the second half of last year, and it's a dangerous game when there isn't enough liquidity. I saw that lack of liquidity a lot with non-grails. So again, the good thing the grails have some buyers, even though they are the minority on the platform. While I was swamped with year-end, Vivi was rebranding. Now I have both positive and not so positive thoughts on it. Everybody wanted marketing last year. Everybody wanted them to go buy a billboard and do what SafeMoon did, or pay some celebrity to shout out Ecomi. And all we got was BitBoy Crypto.
Vivi app has extensive partnerships and licensing deals.
What many don't realize is that creating the right brand is a part of that marketing process behind the scenes. Now, one of the things they could have used was focus groups as part of their research to find out what people think about different proposals of the different brand ideas. Now, the MCU, for example, definitely uses focus groups, and I feel like their general approach is to make sure they tick the most boxes. Other companies might use them to try to stand out in a certain way. Now, I've been a part of a focus group, and I was paid to answer questions about a product that was working on their own rebranding as well. Now, they asked questions on like, what taglines had the most impact on me? What types of pictures that I liked more with their products in them, and why did I like them? It was over a 3-day period, and I was pretty impressed with how detailed and meticulous they were with my responses. Now, I don't know if they did this publicly with Vivi or they just used their internal staff for this, but my gut sense is that they did do something like this, but internally. The fact that they did rebrand is a positive sign to me. They're defining their market, and it's the first step for bigger marketing activities. That's the bullish side. Some might not like the look of it, but keep in mind, we're just the 1% of who Ecomi wants as their user base. They're trying to cater to the 99% and bring them in. In the last community update, Dan said it's about having a fun yet personal logo. And while I'm sure that it was the truth, I also think there was much more data behind the decision to go this route with the blue heart. I'm by no means a marketing expert. I did maybe 3 marketing courses in my undergrad program. But in the big picture, I'm by no means a marketing expert. The thing is, even with that limited knowledge and experience, there has to be a better reason behind this. And here are my thoughts. There was a 2011 study from Finland that discovered that 91% of women and only 66% of men were familiar with the heart symbol. 9 years prior, men were as low as 48% familiar with it. There has been a push by Ecomi for more diversity and inclusivity, which is a great thing. I agree with this. They've made it clear with their words and their actions that is a goal of theirs. The collectible space has largely been dominated by men since the beginning of basically collecting. And even though it's a billion-dollar industry, it's only really realizing half of the potential. I mean, look at my subscribers. 99.1% are men. I appreciate all my subscribers, all of you. But man, it's a real sausage fest down here. Let's get that ratio closer to 1-to-1. The heart symbol is also synonymous with health and wellness, 2 trends that are very relevant today and should continue to be very relevant in the future. So that's my first guess, why they went this route, trying to grow their brand with symbols and imagery that are in line with what they've already shown they're trying to do. But let's get to my personal take of the not so positive thoughts on this rebranding. If there's one big takeaway from those marketing classes, is that when you create your company's mission or brand, it needs to communicate a clear message on what it does or what you're trying to do. When we look at other brands who use the heart symbol, what they do is incorporate it into the heart. It's not just a heart. There is big time graphic design work done here, well beyond my capabilities, but each of them gives me an indication of what they do or what they want to represent. Now, I do like the tagline, collectors at heart, but it's nowhere on the symbol. That 99% that they're trying to get, they just see a heart. Now, if I spend 5 minutes on Photoshop, I'd go with that heart, maybe add in the old V, add in that gradient, which, by the way, is just a default gradient in Photoshop called Purple 07. All collectibles should be displayed on a base, and put the tagline right there. Now, obviously, that's a ghetto 5-minute Photoshop job, but with the collector base and the tagline there, I have a better idea of what this company is offering. When I look at my phone to go for a drop, it looks like I'm opening up a dating app. Of course, this is just my opinion. There are some positives and some negatives, in my opinion. That overall leave me with a meh, let's see what they do with it. They have a lot of smart people in that company. I can't assume that I know any better than successful professionals, so let's see what happens. Anyways, I'm going to cut the video off here. It's really good to be back. I'm not sure I'll be back to weekly videos, but things are clearing up slowly but surely. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate all of you. Thanks for watching.